Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. We are doing our mid-year book tag. Yay! I've seen a lot of these for the first time last year, and then I've seen more people do it this year, so I wanted to try and do my own version. Now the questions that I see everybody do seems to be the same, so I grabbed mine from Freya's because she was the one that I most recently watched, so I have them all here. And I tried not to watch too many because I kind of wanted to go through it for the first time and then go grab them instead of like pre-prepping them, just because I feel like for me that's a little bit more fun. If I have a little trouble, I have my reading journal here as well, which I just updated yesterday, and hopefully it'll make things a little bit easier if I come to a standstill. But with that being said, let's dive right into this. The first one is the best book I've read so far in 2026. I've had a lot. And I think I wanted to also do romance and fantasy. So like best book, I want to do a romance version and a fantasy version just because I don't think I can decide exactly what I want. So we're gonna cheat the system, have a little fun. We may have a couple books for each of them. And I can do that because this is my channel, my video, my editing, so I can do what I want. And that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go pick those real quick and get back to you because I had some pop up in my head right away. Okay, so the first book for best book of the year so far for romance, I'm picking If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. This book is so good. The 90s nostalgia, the romance, the storyline, the plot, the characters, everything. 6-star read. And I just found out she's coming out with a new book later this year. So that's going to be an immediate buy for me. But this one, just everything, cover to cover, perfect. So much fun. I'm also in like the point where I think I'm going to reread this. Just because I still constantly think about this. And I read this in January. So this is going to be my top one. Now for fantasy, I have two. And they're two completely different ones, which makes me think that there should be like another subcategory of like romantasy and high fantasy. I don't think these compare in the same way because they obviously have different storylines. And well, actually, is that considered romantasy? I don't know. I always get the romance, fantasy with the subplot of romance and romantasy. I get those mixed up all the time. But we have Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. I am dying for book 2 to come out in December, like just dying to come out. This book was so much fun. I'm intrigued on how the storyline's going to go and just like kind of can't stop thinking about it. Like it was one of those books that I finished it at night and the next day I was like, where are we going from here? What's going on? I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's going on between these two and how that's going to happen. And yeah, I don't know. I can't stop thinking about this one. So this made the top. And then my other fantasy book, I think, speaks for itself. Mistborn, Brandon Sanderson, the only book I've ever annotated, or not annotated, but I have sticky noted certain things and color coordinated, like there's different colors, just top tier. And I really need to get into the next one, but it's even bigger than this book, so it's a little intimidating. I've loved every minute of it. I'm definitely into the Cosmere now, and I feel like part of a community that is, even though I've only read one book, but yeah, this one definitely tops. Okay, so next is worst book you've read so far in 2026. This one I'm not for sure if they're supposed to count DNFs or not, because I have had a few DNFs, but I'm going to consult my little tracker here, because I've DNF'd 3 books this year. So I don't think I'm going to count those. I'm going to count which ones are my light blues. They're my 2 stars. So I just want to consult this and see which one I feel like picking. Okay. I have one. So if I have to narrow anything down, the worst book so far this year is Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. This one is kind of difficult to say because like the first book I just shouldn't have read, The Secretly Yours. I just wish I should have DNF'd that one and probably skipped this one. So that's probably my tell of why I didn't like this one, because I go back and forth on Tessa Bailey. They're either like really good or they're just not. And this one wasn't. Both books in this series, just not it. For me at least. Sorry. But yeah, it just kind of dragged in my opinion. I did finish it though, so I can say that and give my opinion. But yeah, just wasn't it for me. Okay, I thought there was a prompt for most disappointed, or like book I was most disappointed by, but I don't think there is, so I'm gonna kind of categorize this one. But In Her Own League by Liz Tomford, I expected either a little bit more or honestly a lot less. I think if this would have been a novella and we focused a little bit more on Reese, I would have been more into it. But I just kind of wasn't feeling this book, unfortunately. So I still finished it. I still will continue reading her books. It's not gonna, like, it hasn't fully stopped me from reading her books, but I just think it's kind of one of those things where, like, the Windy City series was complete, it was done, and then this is like an add-on, where sometimes when these add-ons come out, it's like, does it add to the story, does it not? I think it kind of does. I think it could have been a little different. Personal opinion, but yeah. Okay, next up is best sequel and worst sequel. This one's gonna be a little difficult for me. This year I have started a lot of series, but I have not gotten to book 2 yet. So it's a little hard to kind of like categorize that one. So I'm gonna try my best to pick something. Okay, have 2 books. And these 2 books I actually just recently talked about in my May and June recap. For romance side, I picked A Photo Finish by Elsie Silver. This is book 2 of the Gold Rush Ranch series, and it is my favorite of the series. It's just so fun, and I loved every minute of it. I love the dynamic of the two, Cole and Violet. Just a fun kind of like banter between them, and them getting to know each other and growing from how they know each other in their past. It was just really fun. For the fantasy side, it is a little hard to do as I think I've only read 1 sequel, but it is a really good sequel, and that's Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. I had said in my review that Kaylee can do no bad gothic setting writing. It is, that in and of itself is almost a 5-star in my opinion, in both Enchantra and Phantasma. Just so fun. Loved every minute of it. If we go by the prompt of best sequel, it's this guy. I don't want to categorize this as a worst sequel because it's still a decent book, but it just wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. And now back to you, BK Borison. Like I said, still a good book. Still enjoyed it, but First Time Color I liked it a lot more. And this one just didn't hit the mark for me. If we're going by the worst that I've read so far, I just don't think worst is such a bad descriptor. Like, and the first, like, it should just be like the first book was better. And then the best sequel is like the second book was better. But yeah, that's still a good book. Just if we go by the prompt, just no, because that just seems bad. Because I heard saying it, because I do love this book. But I just liked First Time Caller better. Ooh, okay. The next one is a new release that I haven't read yet, but want to. Do I have anything down there? I think I'm caught up on what's come out already that I own, because I had some new ones come in. Like, the new books that I was expecting, excited for, No Matter What, In Her Own League, and Now Back to You, My Husband's Wife, Agnes Albert's Mystical Cat Shelter, and The Book Witch. Those ones I've all read. And they were like my most anticipated for the first half of the year. So, ooh, I do have one, now that I look. I do have The Last Contract of Isako by Fonda Lee. I have the Book of the Month version. So I do have a winner for this category. And it's this one because I really want to read this. Standalone. Was it fantasy opera? I think is what it's categorized, and I don't even know what that means, but it just seems like a really good book. I have yet to read the Greenbone Saga yet by Fonda Lee, so I'm a little behind, but if I had to choose one for this category of new release that I haven't read yet, The Contract of Isiko by Fondling. I need to get to it. Okay, who's next? Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Okay, I just looked up books. I plan on doing like a full video of new releases because there's a ton. And if I had to pick one... Oh wait, okay, so no, there's gonna be two. Okay, I'm gonna put them up here. The first one is Love Felt Like This by Julia Olivia. Like I said, If It Makes You Happy was my top book, so this one I think is gonna be so good. I don't even know what it's about. I think I'll get to that in the other video about what it's about, but yeah, no, this one I think is gonna be really, really good. And then I believe it is in December. Let me check the date. But the second book to Rose and Chains comes out. Guess December 1st. Vine of Hearts comes out. Oh, that cover's so beautiful. Stop. I need to know what happens. I need it. I need it right now. But those would be my most anticipated releases so far. There's, like I said, there's a ton. There's about, the screenshots I have, let's count. 20. There's at least 20 books that come out in the next 6 months. I don't even want to think about it because having to spend the money on it is not what I want to do. I want to get through my physical TBR before I buy any of those. I know a couple of those will most likely be bought. Those two for sure. There's another BK Borison coming out. Another Lila Sage coming out. And I just... Too many books. Too many books, so little time. Biggest surprise of the year. This is gonna be a hot second. I'm gonna consult the book. Okay, for biggest surprise of the year, I'm gonna start out by saying I knew this was gonna be good. A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. This one, like I said, I knew it was gonna be good. I knew I was gonna like it. What I mean by surprise is the level of detail that she goes into in everything regarding artifacts is so insane that I found myself completely like enwrapped in it. And the thing about it that I know that like it sounds even better is that she's a historian herself, and you just know that like what she's describing is real. Like, she didn't just make these up on the fly, which, I mean, that is kind of impressive, but, like, she's describing real things, and that is just so well done in this book. And you either like it or you don't like it in this book, because if you don't like it, it probably could have taken a lot of pages out of this, but I think it really adds to the book, because she's bringing in this, like, level of intelligence and correct history that it just really kind of, to me, adds to the story. And that's what I really liked about this. Because then I watched the show, and like the show doesn't really touch on that. Because then the show would be like 20 episodes instead of like 8, which honestly would have been fine by me. But yeah, this I think is my best surprise this year. Favorite new author debut or new to you? Now, a lot of the past books that I've shown you, those are the first books I've read by those authors, so they could all fall under this category. So I wanted to pick up one that isn't, that we haven't brought up yet. And that's Sarah Adams. Because this book had me up giggling at 2 a.m. on a work night. I had to force myself to put it down so I could go to bed. Like, that's how into Sarah's writing I am. I've read 2 books by her, both 5 stars. She just writes really great characters, really great settings, really fun stories, banter. Everything is just top notch and has become a favorite of mine. I have a ton of her books too, and I plan on reading a lot of them this year because they're worth it. And I like the length of her books. They're not too long. She knows what she's doing. And they're like just different like settings that I haven't read before. Like this one does touch on the fact that she has epilepsy and has a guide dog. She touches on those very well and just does a really good job at setting up these storylines where it's like not so out of the blue, but it's like real. And we have older characters. So they're not in their early 20s, they're late 20s and 30s. And it feels good to read later. I was gonna say later in life, but like older than some of these books that focus on like 22-year-olds. So this is nice. Newest fictional crush. This is gonna take me a while. I'm gonna consult the journal again and try and figure this out. So no, he wouldn't count. Would he? Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna pick this one. It does say crush. It doesn't say it has to be like, I don't know the words, like the exact, like a boyfriend or anything in a movie or in a movie, in the book. I'm gonna pick Kel from A Darker Shade of Magic. B. Schwab. This one, I don't know, I was gonna pick the devil from Phantasma because he just seems fun. Or even the villain and assistant to the villain, just because the dynamic of that book and like the villain's castle or whatever just kind of seems like fun. But I think I like Kel the best for this because he just seems like he cares deeply for who he cares about. And it'd be really fun to travel with him through all the Londons. And now I haven't continued the series. I've only read this one, so maybe it changes, but I do really enjoy Kel. So, who knows? Maybe end of the year. Is there an end of year tag like this? Maybe it'll change. Maybe we'll review this at the end of the year, and maybe it'll change, but I'm gonna pick Kel for my newest crush because he definitely sits up there. Okay, next up is a book that made me cry. There's really only one that's actually brought tears to my eye. And that is The Book Witch by Meg Schaefer. If I say something, because I don't think it says it in the thing. Okay, yeah. It doesn't say it on the blurb, but so like if I say exactly why it made me cry, it'll give kind of some stuff away. But so she's a book witch. She hops in and out of books to fix their stories. If a burner tries to destroy it and destroy the book as a whole. So she goes in and she'll fix stuff. And there's one character that she is back and forth with. And near the end of the book, that other character says a line. And it talks about grief, I think is what I'll say. As not really a full giveaway, but a slight giveaway. And this one line, tears. Like, a couple tears falling out of both eyes. Not just like one singular one. A couple coming out of each cheek. Each cheek? Each eye. And I immediately was like, you pulled that emotion out of me. I'll never forget that. Because I was kind of contemplating about if I would keep this book or not. And then I hit that section and I went, I can't get rid of you. I can't get rid of you because it just broke me. And so that's how this one got up here. We're moving fast. A book that made me happy. That's a lot of books. Agnes Albert's Mystical Cat Shelter, Heather Fawcett. A book that made me happy because of all the cats. I'll be honest, yes. The cats are just so well done in this book. It's a fun little story, a nice cozy fantasy. So much so that I've thought about rereading it come winter when I can put on a little fake fireplace with some ambiance and cozy up while it snows outside and read this guy again because it was just a fun one for me. So I'm going to pick this one for a book that made me happy because it was good. Alright. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. I haven't bought a lot, that's the thing. Give me a handful of minutes. I think I need to look up what exactly I've bought so far this year, just because it hasn't been a lot. So I need to review what actually fell under 2026 and not 2025, because the first video I put out this year was a huge book haul, and I've barely bought any since, other than like some book of the months, but I just want to make sure I get the right one. Okay, well, it took me looking up my birthday book haul, which was in February, but that was like the last time. Like I said, other than these book of the months up top, those were the only other books that I bought, so I had to compare, and I came to two. One is a whole set, and it's the Stephanie Garber Caraval series. I did buy this like special edition version of all 4 books. They all have the sprayed edges, the invitation on the back, and it has like the red on the side, the little star there, or snowflake, and then the inside has all of this. So those definitely make the top. But then I also had this one, which this one I haven't put on my TBR, but I did solely buy it for how it looks, and that's The Bookshop Below by Georgia Summers. And I forgot about this one, if I'm being honest, because like I said, it didn't make the physical TBR cart area, but I think I'm gonna have to put it there now because I just reread what it's about and I kind of want to read it. And this cover, these colors, the purple, the blue, the red, is just really pretty. So I'm gonna put this one on my TBR shelf and not the regular shelf, which is not what I want to do, but I am going to reevaluate everything that's on there as a whole and I think reset the physical TBR, because I think I'm a little too, like, I like it for when I do the TBR jar prompts because it gives me multiple options, but when I am done reading those books and I'm just staring at my TBR of what to read next, I kind of go blank, so I need to reevaluate that. Okay, last one. What books do I need to read by the end of the year? I actually think I'm going to move the camera so that I can sit and do this and talk to you about it instead of holding them because I'm weak. Okay, so to start about the books that I must read by the end of the year, I have my must reads, which is going to be the rest of my 26 for 2026 books. I have 10 left. 10. So we're doing pretty good. We're over halfway done. So we're doing a good job there. And then I have a handful of books down here that are going to be also on the list. It's not like top priority, but kind of like essentially what I really want to get into by the end of the year. So that's another 14 books. So that makes 24. And I've read, how many have I read this year? I'm at 60. So we're doing really good. My goal was 80. So we're hopefully gonna reach that. 24 to get into the end of the year, maybe. I think it's possible. So to quickly just go over what's left in my 26 for 2026, The Wolf King, Lauren Palfreeman, which I think book 2 has come out, but for some reason I just haven't been feeling it, so I haven't grabbed it. We have Once Upon a Broken Heart, Stephanie Garber, but I've talked about how I want to read the Caraval series first, so this literally might be one of the last books I read this year. You Again by Kate Goldbeck. I almost picked this up recently. The Ritual, Chantal Tessier? I'm not sure. Heartless Hunter, Kristen Ciccarelli, or what is it, Crimson Moth, I think is what it's called. I also have Rebel Witch. So I know when I read this, I'll most likely read that as well. My favorites, Lane Fargo, Immortal Consequences, Ivy Marie, and I actually, for the July book of the month, book 2 was in it, so I grabbed that, which I think kind of pushed me a little bit more into wanting to read this one sooner so that I can have both versions, and I have them both in the book of the month version, which is nice, so they'll match, which we love. We Who Will Die by Stacia Stark. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, B.E. Schwab. I feel like this is gonna wreck me, and I'm scared to read it. And then Dagger in the Flame by Catherine Doyle. I do have book 2 of this, so that needs to get read very soon as well. I think I have time. Like I said, I've read through 16 other books this year, so I think we'll be okay. Like, if there's one thing I can try and do for myself before the end of the year, it's read these 10 books. It's the least I could do for myself. But the other books that I picked for certain reasons, because I did want to focus on, and it's kind of what I've been doing the last 2 months, is I have been finishing series. How many did I finish? I think I finished out 3 or 4 series in the last 2 months, and I've made my way through more series, but I want to focus a little more on the fantasy side, because it's like, if I could finish out fantasies, then I can add more fantasies, so that I'm not reading too many. So I do need to focus on that a little bit, but I want to finish the Gathering of, what is it? Shades of Magic trilogy. Gathering of Shadows is the second one. But the Shades of Magic trilogy, I have both of them here. I hated these covers when I first bought them, but I actually love them now. I love his little crown in this one. But yeah, I really want to finish this series. And I also really want to finish the Mistborn, the first trilogy. I'm hoping we get the rest of the series in this format, where it's the colored sprayed edges and just the size, because I recently got a mass market version. It was at our town had a fair kind of thing, and the bookstore had the mass market one, and I just had to buy it, but it's definitely not this size. But yeah, need to finish this one, at least those 2. And then I really want to get Abigail Owen's The Things Gods Break, because the 3rd one comes out later this year. So I want to, I mean, I probably won't read book 2 until book 3 comes out, but we'll see. Is this another Kate? Oh, Goldbeck and Golden. Did I say that wrong? If I didn't say it right, this is Kate Goldbeck. And this is Kate Golden, Half City. There's a second book coming out in September, I think. But I want to get this one in. Oh, wow. I haven't opened this yet. Look at that. Are those her daggers that she's holding? That's really pretty. God, I hope that's not AI. I at least want to get Beartown in by Frederick Bachman. Maybe Anxious People, because I do have that one. But I at least want to get this one in, but I think I've been holding this one off until later, because I feel like it's going to be a wintry book. And so reading it when it's 90 degrees outside does not sound good. So hopefully this one will get in soon. Leigh Bardugo. I need to get into Leigh Bardugo. Ninth House Hellbent. I have both. I do really want to pick this up. These 2 big ones, ugh, they're just so intimidating to think about. Especially this one. I know the Strength of the Few is out, but I still only have this one. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. And then we have Antonia Hodgson's The Raven Scholar. I've just heard really good things about it. I think it'll be really good. I just haven't picked it up yet. Oh, okay. Kudos to whoever did these. Both of them have book 1 on the spines. I absolutely love to see that. We then have A Sign of Affection. I really need to pick this up. I want to get a couple more though. I only have book 1. I want to at least get to book 4 and like have those on hand and just read them one after the other instead of reading this and then waiting. I'd rather have a handful so that I can read more into the story instead of just this one. I did add The Bookshop Below. I just think the story seems really good and fun, and it's a very beautiful cover, and it deserves to be read. So I did add that one. I then grabbed Something Wicked by Fallon Ballard. She has become one of my favorite authors this year. Well, it started last year, that's why I didn't include her in my new favorite author prompt earlier, because I've read her previously. But this is like her first fantasy, I believe. And there's a second one coming out later this year. And so I really want to read this one because I'm intrigued on what route she's going to go regarding fantasy, so really excited for this one. And then this last one, this was actually probably my most recent purchase. Let me take off this sticker first. But this one just caught my eye. It's by Marissa Meyer and Tamara Moss. It's called The Escape Game. Like, look at our sprayed edges there. So this one is like a reality TV show that's an escape game. I'm guessing it's a house, but there's a ton of contestants, and so during season 4, one of the contestants is actually found murdered on set. And so it's like, oh my god, what happened? And so when season 5 starts up, the sister of who was murdered is in the show, like in the show now for this, but people think that she killed her. So it's like everybody thinks that she got away with her sisters, with like killing her sister. So it's now like going to kind of dive into that, and it's like she's in there to try and like find out who killed her sister. But like, I love escape games. I've never physically played them. I've played them on my work. We've done like virtual ones, and it's been just kind of fun. But yeah, it just seemed really good, and just like a different storyline that I have yet to fully see. And I'm kind of intrigued by it because it's kind of giving like, I'm trying to think of a reality TV show. I mean, there's Fear Factor now, but you're not exactly an escape route, but it's kind of giving like the Compound vibes without the dystopian thing. I mean, that is more Love Island as well, but I don't know, I just kind of like the idea of a reality TV show that's escape rooms. It just seems fun. Okay, that was a lot of book talk. I'm not used to talking this much, and my throat and voice are definitely suffering because of it. But that's the mid-year wrap-up. If you're still here, thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. If you don't know what to comment, let me know how your year's going in books. But that is the end of this video, so I will see you on the next one.